right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. Protests continue in Dhaka over the death of a youth leader of the country's 2024 pro-democracy uprising. The protesters vandalized the partially demolished house of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. They were seen attempting to tear down the remaining portion of the house and also setting fire to a poster of the ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Now, Sharif Osman Hadi, who was injured in an assassination attempt last week, died in a hospital in Singapore. And this following a night of unrest. Several buildings in the capital, including those housing the country's two leading newspapers, were then set on fire. The first attack came on Protham Alo, where the crowd had gone chanting slogans. The crowd vandalized the office before setting it on fire at around 12 a.m. They then vandalized the ground in the first floors of the Daily Star before putting it ablaze at about 12:30 a.m. The blaze quickly engulfed the two floors, sending a huge column of smoke into the air. The fire service could not reach the building for some time because a crowd blocked their way. The entire night shift fled to the roof to save their lives, pleading for help through phone calls and social media posts. The firefighters eventually reached the site and then brought the fire under control at around 2 a.m. However, the journalists could not be brought out immediately because the crowd stormed the building after the fire was extinguished. The protesters also targeted the office of the Awami League, seeking the return of Sheikh Hasina. The House of India's deputy ambassador to Bangladesh was also surrounded by hundreds of people who were trying to demonstrate in a sit-in where the police lobbed tear gas shells to disperse the crowd. In addition, the protesters also blocked a key highway leading from the capital and then attacked the residence of a former minister in Chittagong. The protesters also attacked the Chayanot, which is a centre in Dhaka devoted to Bengali culture. Now, the interim government, in a statement, has urged the citizens to resist all forms of mob violence committed by we refer to as the fringe elements. The government has strongly condemned all acts of violence, intimidation, arson and destruction of properties, pointing out that it is a critical moment in the country's history with elections planned. Now, the interim government under Mohammad Yunus, in a message to the citizens, has said that we cannot and must not allow it to be derailed by those it said thrive on chaos and reject peace. And earlier, Yunus confirmed Hadi's death.
I want to state clearly that Osman Hadi was an enemy of the defeated forces of fascist terror. Any attempt to silence his voice to intimidate revolutionaries will be decisively resisted. The country's march toward democracy cannot be halted through fear, terror, or bloodshed.
Now, the government also announced some special prayers at mosques on Friday and a half-day mourning on Saturday. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.